Welcome to Declutter Your Life. I'm your host, Andrew Mellen, and by the end of today's episode, you are going to know how to perfectly organize your kitchen so you can say goodbye to confusion and chaos and hello to saving time. You'll also be able to eat better, lose weight, and feel great about your choices every day. Now, how's that sound? Great. Let's get started. When it comes to organizing your kitchen, just like we talked about in organizing your closet, the easiest fastest way to do this is to pull everything out of your cupboards. And I know that that might make you a little freaked out, but really, you'll be fine. You just need to set aside between 8 and 10 hours over a long weekend to be able to tackle this from start to finish without making yourself crazy or leaving yourself not enough time to complete the project. So you can do it piecemeal, cupboard by cupboard, but you will actually spend more time and probably repeat steps. So it's just easier to remove everything and start from a blank slate, if you will. And once everything is out of all of your cupboards and all of the drawers, you want to, again, using the organizational triangle, one home for everything and like with like, just sort things like with like. So much of the clutter in our kitchens comes from things being mix matched in storage spaces. So often we have prep items in 2 or 3 different locations. We have cooking things in a couple of different locations, serving utensils, you get the idea. So the quicker you can group like with like to make the smart decisions about what stays and what goes, suddenly you discover, oh, I actually have 9 Teflon spatulas. I don't need that many. Probably I could get by with 3 or 4 of them. And you'll be able to easily decide what stays and what goes so that when it comes time to reload your kitchen, you know exactly what you're going to put, where you're going to put it. Now, we've pulled everything out of the kitchen cupboards. We've laid everything out. We've sorted like with like. We're going to drill down into those categories. And as I said, make the decisions about what stays and what goes. Once you've decided what stays and what goes, the things that are going can easily go into a box and you can take them off to a thrift store, give them to a friend. Pay attention to any impulse, any story that comes up that tells you you have to find the perfect home for that blender or the toaster or that spatula. The best home is the next home, which isn't yours. If your friend needs a toaster, by all means, give it to them. But don't hold on to these things until you can find the perfect home. Right now, somebody in your town is looking for a toaster. And if they're going to the thrift store to find it, so much better that your toaster would be there to meet them instead of you trying to identify the perfect place for it. It breaks that thread of story that's keeping you bound to holding on to things longer than you need to and creating unnecessary clutter in additional spaces like your garage or the closet. Better to just let them go, release them with love, and let them go on to their new home. So now we have all of the things that are going to go back into the kitchen, and we want to think about commercial kitchens when we are rearranging our kitchen. So think about these zones are the zones that you're trying to identify in your own home. And they are prep, cooking and baking, serving and assembling, storing and freezing, cleanup, and beverages. I'm going to repeat those one more time for you. Prep, cooking and baking, serving and assembling, storing and freezing, cleanup, and beverages. If you think about your kitchen in relationship to those zones and where you need to have things at your fingertips so you can find them. I'm left-handed. I like my cooking utensils to the left of my range. If you're right-handed, you might like them to the right of your range. It's your kitchen. You get to design it in a way that supports you. There are no overriding rules about where the pots and pans need to go or where the appliances need to go. I will tell you that I only keep on my countertop things that I use on a daily basis. I'm a big smoothie fan, and I have recently started drinking coffee again. So my little espresso machine sits on my countertop, as does my blender. Nothing else is on my countertops other than my chopping block and the basket of produce, because I'm in and out of that every day. But otherwise, there are not things sitting on my countertop because I want the counter space to be able to actually prep food. So if you are not eating carbs, there's probably no reason for you to keep the toaster out. And you'll start to see, as you look around your kitchen, also for any, we'll call it unnecessary decoration. I don't think your kitchen needs to be plain or blah or dull. You can definitely have things that brighten up the kitchen and make your heart sing when you see them, but pay attention to the difference between clutter that you're no longer recognizing and those objects that actually spark some sort of enthusiasm or happiness in you when you see them. There is definitely a difference, and I think if you're deliberate and specific about your choices, you'll know very quickly what should stay and what should go. So we keep our countertops clean and available for food prep. Certainly, if you're in a small kitchen, if you're in an apartment, it's even more important that that real estate is available for food prep, or you're gonna end up at the dining room table, or perhaps, even balancing a tray on your lap, trying to do food prep. And it's just gonna make it miserable and less likely that you're gonna do it regularly. So everything that we're doing in the kitchen is setting you up to save time and be specific and deliberate about your choices. It doesn't mean that it's not fun, but if you think about your kitchen as a food shop in the way that you would like a wood shop, if you were making cabinets, everything in that wood shop would be set up to make the cabinets as efficiently and cleanly as possible. It's the same thing in the kitchen. So when we reload the kitchen, we're thinking about our zones. I like to have my dishes and my glasses near the dishwasher so that it's easy to unload the dishwasher and put them away. If you don't have a dishwasher, if you're using some sort of a drying rack, it's probably a good idea to keep your dishes nearby. I like to keep the silverware near the exit of the kitchen because typically I'm going to my dining room table to eat. So I don't want to walk all the way back into the kitchen just to get a fork and a knife. It's easy to have that right as I'm leaving. Likewise, trash is helpful under the sink, or if you have a pull-out drawer, that's a great thing too. Be mindful of keeping spices near heat. It will burn through them. The heat is not good for spices. They're relatively delicate. So it's nice to keep them someplace where there's good air circulation around them. And that goes the same thing for oils. Anything that has fat in it will go rancid the quicker and the sooner it is near heat. So keeping that someplace well ventilated and cool, either in a refrigerator or in a cupboard, not next to the stove, and certainly not on the stove. So as you reload things, again, just think about what serves you. Are you somebody who loves to cook? Are you somebody who just buys a lot of prepared food at the grocery store and basically you're reheating it and assembling it? There are no rights or wrongs that you're required to do other than what makes sense for you. When you apply these principles, it will make being in your kitchen a dream instead of a nightmare. I promise you, a few simple tricks and tips, and the experience of being in the kitchen is going to completely become revolutionized for you. That's what I want to share with you today. So thanks for listening. And I don't know how to end this.
All you have to do is just say edit.
Yeah, edit. That's an edit. And what am I saying now?
And that's it for today's episode. Join me next time.
That's it for today's episode. Join me next time.